Hello, hello, good day. How is everybody doing? Peace be with you, blessed be, namaste, all the good stuff. So yeah, I wanted to make this video about how to, I'm not even sure about what to approach it. There's always so much to say. And we try to, people try to condense a lot of things into small period of time, so bear with me. With that said, about unhaunting yourself and unhaunting surrounding. I mean, of course, by that, obviously, cleansing and how to stop the self-critiquing and how to help others to do the same thing from, of course, a spiritual perspective. A lot of us are exposed to many things. In this world, there's a lot of gosh, how do I even begin this? Especially when you're particularly inclined to follow a spiritual path. Although you could be anybody, doesn't mean you're doing that as an active thing. Sometimes we're waiting passively, like our higher self is waiting passively to open up to things. Some of us are born with being awake to certain things. We are obviously carrying many things with us in every incarnation, and the amnesia is there for a reason. And sometimes our heart feels deeply troubled with something, or the call to action, a call to assist, a call to enter the spirit life and to do things with it. And a lot of the time, and I'm speaking from personal experience as well as others I've spoken with that are friends, long distance people as well, online, and videos and things I've seen. And when I think about hauntings, that are places that well known. I mean, there's a million videos about those kind of things. A lot of the times, and as the spirits have been sort of communicating with me lately, legitimately, and I'm speaking for myself as well, that I know we have some sort of sense of feeling a burden or feeling a sense of heaviness in the world, or a feeling of guilt. Guilt is a huge thing sometimes, not even necessarily for a particular thing we've done, but something carried over with us, baggage that we carry, and we need to unhinge from this. Now, obviously, there are very many cleansing ceremonies people could think about. There are psychedelic drugs people might use to really do an intense upheaval of sorts, hanging around and giving yourself a lot of positive friends, influences, reading good things, feeding your soul and mind, your soul, your spirit, your mind, even your body, with good things to sort of unhinge. Anytime we do self-destructive things or destruction to the world, or some sort of don't even want to say deliberate negligence, but maybe it is ignorance, polluting the world, littering, little things, taking our aggression out on things, things that people do all the time. We need to really go in and sort of purge this, and it is hard because it's going to take some work. Sometimes it means changing yourself entirely. It's very good to shapeshift in the sense of, and I don't mean out, well, literally, but although you could in the astral, but shapeshift yourself so that you act into a new modality of being. We need to sort of come to the understanding that we all feel sort of the burden of fear, the burden of the world criticism that's out there, the judge, the accuser, as it is often called in the old school style, and sort of the Abrahamic faith and what have you. That the devil was called, one of the names would be called the accuser. Now, the devil is, of course, also inside of us, in the sense of we have these fears, we have this aggression, we have this unbalance. So once again, the whole meaning of holy is to be whole and complete. So one of the amazing things, if we would mention Jesus or Buddha or any profound individual like that, is that they would say, in me, the evil has nothing. In me, he has nothing. So when you virtually and essentially and clandestinely, is that, yeah, use that word, when you unhaunt yourself, you stop sort of feeling pressure of things within yourself, it makes a lot of good, a lot of difference. Now, of course, a lot of people like us, if you're watching the video, you have some interest in spirit, maybe you're very spiritual, you've had a lot of experiences, you've had encounters with divine beings, demonic beings, neutral spirits of all kinds. If you know these types of things, if you're into this type of stuff, you understand exactly what I'm talking about, or you've heard enough stories, many of which are probably quite true. There's always a few liars or, things out and about, but most of these are quite true, and people are saying it because we need the validation. So what I'm saying is, in this, the collective, there's the individual that I am, that you are, and of course the collective humanity, the world spirit, if you will, which is still haunted, and we are realizing that we have received the fruits of our labor. We have received a karmic inheritance. We have also received, maybe in a lot of cases too, some things, some burdens that we need to fix and go with as the collective that we have taken, building up until now, from earliest times until the present moment, realizing we have a lot of stuff to fix. We have a lot of crap we got to sort out. And we really do. Our planet is in a wonderful position, spiritually speaking, because it's really accelerating, as all of you guys probably know. And within the individual, we feel this sort of rising sense, this rising surge, this crescendo of immediacy, this sense of we need to do some things. So the world collective human soul, if you may want to call it that, the generation that has incarnated here on this planet, Gaia, Terra, call her what you like, many, many times. We've been here, we've been doing the story, living our own stories out, physically speaking, literally speaking. Oh, little stomach growl. All I had was an avocado today. Vitamins. And a little coffee, don't mind me. So, we are trying to unhaunt, unhinge the negativity, the fear, because we inherit a lot of things. You're born into the world, and there's rules and regulations. There's things that have happened, events, recent and not very recent, that we're still recovering from. There's a world trauma. There's a world trauma that we're healing from, individually and of course collectively, and in cases geographically. So depending on your own soul's lessons that are needed, or karmic things, you may be born here, you may be born there. You're there to do some good things. You're there to assist with that particular zone and deal with that culture, deal with the history of the culture, but on a bigger sense, to see how it's like playing a chess game against the self, and to rise over the negativity, the fear, the discontent, the malcontent, all the negative things that we enact on self and other. And because we're hard on ourselves, and because we feel such and such a way, we may do so to other. And those that learn to, in a good way, not the selfish way. You say, oh, love yourself, be selfish, you get a bunch of money. No, that's not self-love. Self-love is real, pure, Holy Spirit vibe love, if you want to use that term, real holiness, and having an understanding and an appreciation of why things must happen. Sometimes bad things have to happen for the greater good. That's just how the universe must work. We can't all be given a free pass out of every little thing. We need to learn and earn this thing. So we are learning and earning how to unhinge and how to get to that state of being whole, being cleansed, and being unhaunted. I just want to use that term because it is like that. We do haunt ourselves. We are magnets for things. Anybody who like me is an empath, or someone trying to follow the vibes of good, trying to assist the world in whatever little way we can, or sometimes in whatever big way we might stumble across, or the ricochet effect of things, the pebble in the water, bigger and bigger ripple effects. Well, all these things we do, the more we can do to unhinge from these things, to unhaunt them, the better we're going to be capable to assisting the world, of course. So I know what it's like to feel the burden. I know what it's like to feel like, when I was in school, I was often at the back of the class observing. I felt a bit different. A lot of people are like that. It's not about, all of us are equal. It's not about being special or not special. But the point is, we can ostracize ourselves because we have a sense of something. We're trying to see a more multidimensional thing, even if we don't even have the awareness that we're doing that. So from childhood up until wherever you may be at in your present incarnation time, whatever age you might be at, whatever stage you might be at, the importance of having to cleanse and to accept where you're at, and to really deal with that in a good way, in a positive way, to learn to love yourself truly. You might say that God the God, the God's Holy Spirit. The source's best isness is, of course, the vibe of love. And this is the healer, this is the patient one. And this is what also must sometimes chastise us and all these things. So learning, learning to be in a state where you unhaunt yourself, and in this case, you can unhaunt places. So, for example, I've been watching a lot of paranormal videos lately of people doing, visiting haunted places and trying to get more and more further proof of the existence of spirits, the angelic and the demonic. And it is all, of course, very real. I personally, and many of you personally, didn't need to see a video or read anything to know it's real. You've experienced it for yourself firsthand, like I have. I've seen some crazy things. I've had voices. Anyway, you know what it's about. A lot of you guys too. So, brought a little bit of a little itch here. So, when you're at that place in yourself where you feel this is time for me to change, to grow, to become anew, to let go of. Like, we really got to ask ourselves, because we often are living, we're often living in the modality or the day-to-day, the baseline of yourself, your overall mood, your overall outlook. So you could feel more or less content, you could be heavy in the heart, you could be angry at some things. Probably all of us are mostly a mix of all these things and trying to get in a good place. Some people are very heavy on sadness and sulky because of such a thing, and that's understandable. Some people seem too happy, and I guess that exists too, and I'm not making fun of them, just saying maybe need a little more experience to be more humble about things. But we need happy people, we need crazy eccentric people, we need all of these things. Some people are very angry, some people play the victim, some people are looking for justification. All these things that we all experience, that we're all innately able to experience and potentially have, because we are dealing with what consciousness and what these are difficult terms. You might have better terms than me. Where your heart and your mind, where they meet, the consciousness of that, which is your real self, the consciousness of the heart consciousness and the mind, where they meet, where they themselves align your energy centers. I'm not even necessarily talking about chakras right now, but where you are yourself, where your day-to-day way of operating and existing and doing your activities, your non-activities, these things, those things, we get used to a certain pattern, and it becomes hard to detach from these things and convince ourselves in maybe a more quick way, with a bit less suffering, with a bit less criticism, and whatever it might be, a bit less judgment, a bit less heaviness, a bit less burden, as much as can be had. And I know personally that it's not easy. I'm still very hard on myself, and I feel haunted by many things that I'm doing to myself for this and that reason that you may be experiencing as well. But the more we can convince ourselves that we are here, we are eternal in any case, and we are here with this human experience to get somewhere with a purpose, to achieve a better state. We're trying to rise to a better state. We're trying to get our ascension, our enlightenment. And for those who are not trying to do that as a focus, and they're more in the world, so to speak, well, that's okay, because that is sort of needed too. But the world, the human overall collective, is reaching a better and better state of awareness of the reality of multiple things, and to counterbalance it so it's not too fast, and so that it is not too overwhelming for those who are not necessarily as ready as others might be. There needs to be this sort of counterbalance. For example, when we think about the dark forces in the world, or on the inside and in the universe, well, it kind of exists as a counter from perfection. Like, as we always say, there's perfection and then there's non-perfection, and it's sort of a ping pong in between the two. Now, our overall higher self is by default, by absolute default, an enlightened, perfect entity, a Buddha, a self-enlightened, angelic entity. Call it whatever you might like. We are the living world tree. We are this. Our truest, real self is a very sane, clean mind and a very humble, loving, understanding heart. That is our real, true nature. And of course, in this awkward world where all the elements are mixed together and this alchemy is happening, we're still being stirred in the witch's brew, the cauldron of the universe, to create something wonderful. Well, you can choose if you want to be sweet and kind, or bitter and angry and victim, or sad and sulky, and all these things. And I understand all these things very well myself. Like I said, I've dealt with depression a lot in my life, and now I'm getting to a stage where I'm letting a lot of this stuff just go, and I say, I've earned the place where I'm at, and I don't need to keep badgering myself. I don't need to think that the world has done all these bad things to me. I'm here because ultimately I'm responsible for being here, as you are as well. It's not some freak accident and oh, there's your lot in life. It's all very, very orchestrated very well. I promise you this, and if you don't believe that, go deep into it and really think about it. We are here because we chose to be, because we are meant to be, and because we have to have this great appreciation. And when we get out of this existence, this earthly existence, we'll have incredible experience and stories, and this helps to our enlightenment. We reincarnate here, reincarnate there, visit this and that dimension, planet, whatever it may be, whatever our destiny is to be. But ultimately we're leading towards something fantastic, and because our real nature is actually fantastic. So to unhaunt yourself, to alleviate things. Once again, if people that are more magnetic to the spirits that are in, let's talk about that for a second. The spirits that are in the world are haunting places and this and that, they need assistance. Some of them are there because they're very damaged. Some entities that are in the world that live underground and come up to the surface or this and that, they're very evil. They're actually very whacked out. Maybe they will not get redemption. Maybe some of them will, after a lot of suffering and a lot of time. I feel very bad for some of them. I'm like, wow, you have aeons perhaps of undoing. If the universe wishes you to repent and change, it could take a very long time to, and for some maybe not, and for some maybe they're just doomed to be sucked back into the light, into the source, and then they're just eradicated. So a lot of stories. You do your own research and come to your own conclusions about that. But when you're awake to the spirit world, when you're a real mystic or person that walks into worlds, or psychic, or call it what you want, there's varying degrees of many things. I understand that, and I read a lot of things, and I don't have a necessarily, just like you guys probably, necessarily a specific, oh, I'm a this and I'm a that, I'm this, I follow this religion, I adhere to this philosophy. It doesn't really matter. Truth is truth, and if you're experiencing it, it's very real. Personally, I do believe very much firmly in the Christian teachings, not so much what the religion became, but the words of Jesus, Yeshua himself. Fantastic. What a prophet, what a dynamite. And that guy could go anywhere and exercise or cleanse a place. I'm sure not because in me you have nothing, right? Siddhartha, whoever. I'm just saying that level of calm, that level of self-mastery that we're trying to get to. But whatever you adhere to, I respect Hinduism, Buddhism, Druidry very much so, magical traditions of all types, Golden Dawn and others. I respect all these mystery schools, as long as something is not deliberately chasing evil because, oh, I'm some mischievous person. Like the mind isn't developed, they're not experienced enough to realize why you shouldn't do that, because it's by default, what you give out comes back. What you search for comes back to you. Be prepared. So yeah, enough to say on that. And those people are probably going to be, self-haunted for a while. So just saying. So to unhaunt yourself, to be more gentle. The world spirit right now is excited. It feels the tension of things. And it seems like a lot of criticism and stuff, but also on the other hand, there's a lot more tolerance of certain things. People can coexist better. We need to unhaunt the self and unhaunt each other, so we live, we coexist well, we're in a society that is very functional, that is very understanding, that is pragmatic, that understands that, you know, there's not just one way for everybody. It's, you know, it's a multifaceted thing, while following the default, if you will, procedure of advancing, of expanding and growing, and having a real soul evolution, a real evolution of humanity and what we're capable of, all of our innate powers, all of our wonderful blessings that we can have, and to unhinge from the negativity, the self-doubt, the negative down talk, the judgment against others. If you see someone doing something truly wrong, like wrong, well, yeah, you'll see, you know, a criminal will be, you know, arrested or humbled or whatever the case might be, or you're doing some bad things, or if you're gossiping, if you're doing negative things, you may just indeed receive them quite fast or not, but it's a default. All these karmic things are a default. So if we're being good to the self, if we're realizing we don't have to react to everything, we don't have to take responsibility for everything that not necessarily having to do with us, or we can only stretch ourselves into such and such a way. That's what I mean. But if we're purifying and unhaunting the self, how wonderful it is when we do this and see the process pick up momentum, and therefore less problems with the exterior world, which is other people and the planet and the spirits and all these things. And this level of unhaunting equips us to be able to do so for the exterior. Is my stomach grumbling again? Sorry. I watch videos of people all the time, like ASMR things and stuff, and sometimes I like the girls or whoever, but usually it's girls trying to keep that nice figure, and like you hear the stomach growling, and like, now I'm the one. My stomach is haunting me. No, it's fine. It's good to fast sometimes, relatively speaking. So, be good to yourself. Realize your innate potential. See yourself, see your eventual self, see your real self as a perfected being, because you are. You are a perfected being. Your ultimate self is a perfect being. One ship with God. Like Jesus said, I and the Father are one, meaning there's no other steps to take. That is the enlightenment. Siddhartha would have used different terms. Whoever, it doesn't matter. The Druids could use different terms. It doesn't matter. But your one ship with the universe is your destiny. Your amazing woke self. And the best way we're going to get there is, of course, as we get more and more into the light. Yeah, some things will naturally, like a default, sort of fall off, trickle away, like scales, ashes, dust. Get off me, you know, all those things. All those things. And by unhinging, by unhaunting ourselves, we really get to that state quicker, and do it as a deliberate action. Put it on like autopilot, and have it as a constant thing going. And you may have thoughts and mental activities and whatnot that you'll do to enhance it or speed it up. But have it as a default, saying, well, either way, I am day by day getting to the goal. I got to stop harming myself and start loving more and getting into a wonderful position. Realize the depth and the truth of many things. Test the spirits. Test friends and false friends, and see who is who. And know your tribe. And the more honest you are with the self, the more the universe is going to return that honesty to you, and less deception. You'll be less susceptible to being self-deceived or deceived by others when you're more honest with yourself. That's just default. A lot of the times we're we may be kind and honest, and we expect the world to be the same, because that's the ideal, you know, matured beings to coexist with. How wonderful. We can all be matured. Yeah, eventually. But realize not everybody is necessarily on your wavelength, but for those who are, well, what a blessing. So we unhaunt, we revisit the self often. You clear the clutter of your mind, of your heart, of your personal space, the place you live in, insofar as possible, the environment you might live in. You know, keep your energy, keep your blessings going, even if it's just silently and telepathically. Just your aura, trying to keep things, you know, cleansed and good. Your heart's cry for good things. That also can do a lot. And this is how we get in a blessed place, become sanctified, and less haunted, less bothered. Now, I just wanted to use that term for today's little video. What am I, 25 minutes in? Okay, I'll stop it here. Don't want to make it too long. I really wish everybody well. Please be good and kind to yourselves, and don't convince yourself that you deserve so many bad things. And whatever life you're living, maybe it is exactly what you need, but you have the choice to sort of say, if even the thought or the vibe, I don't know how to say that, if the energy comes to you and it's constant saying, I need to shift, I need to change something, it's because you do, probably. Yeah. Change something for the better, and whew, find yourself in a much better way. So sincere blessings. I wish everybody fantastic providence and self-applied luck. Maybe self-applied luck. Yeah, self-applied luck, and find yourself in a good way, self-empowered, self-mastery, a level of calm within, and with a sense of purpose and duty to do some nice things. Let's keep advancing this human collective and this little corner of the galaxy and universe. Let's enhance it. Wishing everybody well. Let's be grateful for the blessings that we do have, and sometimes also for the trials that we have, because they make us stronger. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Much love to everybody. Wishing you the best, and we'll talk soon. Thank you so much. Take it easy.